Hi there, and welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. It is our annual, or more or less annual, Christmas game of 40k. You can see we have a giant porcelain pig on the table. More on that in a minute. So, I have with me my usual muckers, Nick there, and Si there, and we are playing a weird game of 40k. Shocker. Nick, do you want to read out the little blurb?
It is, yes. Well, it is the day before the eve of Christmas, and there's a four-way ham hunt. With Christmas fast approaching...
One quick note. It was supposed to be a four-way ham hunt. Mark unfortunately couldn't get childcare, so he's not here today. So it's a three-way ham hunt.
Three-way ham hunt. You didn't update the title.
Oh, sorry, mate.
With Christmas fast approaching and the cold weather settling in over the lands, commanders are under pressure to provide a tasty meal for their troops. Luck would have it that a gargantuan pig has been sighted in the area near an abandoned inferno water.
Actually looks pretty good coming down here near the trees.
I smell bacon for all.
Nice. So, the mission today is a variation on a few themes of missions we've done before. So first of all, the obvious thing is there is a giant pig in the centre of the table. If you've seen our various Monster Hunter games, there are rules for basically a little table that this rolls around the board and attacks people at random. If you shoot it, it is more likely to attack you. It'll charge towards you if you attempt to hurt it, things like that. It is a gargantuan creature. It's got 10 wounds, 8 toughness, got 4 up, feel no pain. It's pretty hard to hurt. But if you want the nice bacon, then you're going to have to try. Look at him, he's really friendly. Keep calling it a him. My girlfriend actually calls it Betty, so it's probably a her. Not sure you can tell on pigs if you look under there. Anyway, more on that later. So, the rest of the mission. A few weeks ago, we tried this weird dice bag mechanic for 40k, which is kind of taken from a game called Bolt Action, where for every unit you have, you get to put a dice, or in this case, I bought a giant tub of little counters. You put a little certain coloured counter in the bag. Then for initiative on the turn, you all go at the same time, but you draw a bead out of the bag. If it's your colour, then you choose one of your units that hasn't moved yet this turn, and you basically get to move that unit, then shoot with that unit, then charge with that unit. If you manage to make it into close combat, then you don't resolve the assault phase until the very end of the overall turn, when everyone else has moved and shot and attempted to assault their units. If somebody tries to assault you before you've had to go with that unit, they get basically advanced overwatch, or they get to try and run away, so a bit of a charge reaction, but it then means they can't shoot as well or move as well later in the turn. It works actually pretty surprisingly well. It's slightly modified from something the Games Workshop did in the Death Masks set, but we're trying it on a larger scale here. So, victory points for the game, Nick. How do we score victory points?
Well, you don't, I do.
We'll see, we'll see.
Well, victory conditions. If at any point you wound Betty during a turn, you gain 1 victory point.
Yep, you can only gain 1 per turn for that. So if Si deals her 2 wounds, Nick deals her 1 wound, I deal her no wounds. Nick will gain a VP, but Si will only gain 1 VP, because you gain 1 BP per turn as long as you wound her.
Killing Betty, the person who removes the last wound from Betty gains 2 VPs.
Nice. So, dealing final blow. But remember, we don't know the initiative order, so Si could deal her 9 wounds, but he's not necessarily going next, and then Nick draws his thing out of the bag and kills her. Nasty.
And then Betty, controlling the carcass. Once Betty is dead, or if she dies...
Yeah, we're not entirely certain she's going to.
She becomes an objective point, so 3 VPs at the end of the game.
Yep, lots of meat left on the dead carcass.
And then, obviously, we need to cook the meat as well. At the end of each player turn, so once we've all been, the player that controls the Inferno in the middle there...
Look at the raging inferno of that small plastic flame counter.
They gain 1 victory point.
It's hot to the touch. Okay, so that is the Inferno altar in the centre. Okay, and
Warlords as well. Do we get victory point for killing Warlords?
Okay, so there's various victory points on offer. The game ends the turn after one of us loses our last model. Because we're not playing huge armies here, and it's a free-for-all, so there's not a usual game length, but it ends the turn after we kill the last model of a player's army.
Or when the gammon's cooked.
Or when the gammon's cooked. We have gammon. Open the oven for a Si. We have, for when we have killed Betty, we have a ginormous gammon in the oven, which is for Christmas, but we may well eat some of it today anyway. Okay, any other special rules we've forgotten, Nick?
Yeah, special rules. It's always night fighting turn 1.
Yep.
Reinforcements. Each of us got a single unit in reserve.
That's it. We'll tell you which when we go for our armies.
Obviously, as usual, automatic comes on turn 4.
Yep.
For turns 2 and 3, it comes on a 6+. But there's a couple of conditions which can get you a bonus onto that coming on. So if you've got the least amount of counters in the bag, you get a +2 to your roll. And if you've got the least amount of victory points, you get +2 to your roll.
So basically, if you're losing in either of the two things that are telling you if you're winning or losing, you gain bonuses. You're more likely to get your reserves come in early to help swing the tide of battle. Yep. Small balancing mechanic, not sure it's going to do a huge amount to help. And anything else?
Yeah, the Inferno Altar.
Oh yeah.
A unit that controls the altar treats all its melter and flame and heat-based weapons as having +1 strength.
Just a small bonus for controlling it.
And the other one is Santa's Presents.
Ah yes, I forgot about that.
So Santa is going to be flying over the battlefield.
He's going to be going like this in his sleigh.
And he might lose a present out of his sleigh.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Pop. You think we could find some cool present counters, but I've searched house and couldn't, so we're using pots of paint in a festive colour, mind. So they're going to randomly arrive on the battlefield and they can have various things in. We won't say what can be in, and we'll go through them each turn. We might roll that bit on camera. Yeah. See what we can find out of it. Other rules, just quickly for Betty while I remember. At the end of each combat phase, she does a truffle shuffle instead of stomping, where she basically shuffles around a bit, knocks all the units that are in close combat with her away, dealing them D6, Strength 5, AP 4 hits, and then she runs 3D6 in a random direction, so she can never be locked in combat for more than a turn to give everyone a chance to shoot her and then assault her again. Anything else that we're missing? I don't think so. I think that is more or less everything.
That's just about everything.
So pretty long intro. Let's hope the game is as good as the intro. Let's see what's in our armies. So we're playing 1250 points today, and I am bringing Deathguard from the new Traitor Legions book. I'm playing their special formation, which I can't remember the exact name of it, and it consists of a Chaos Warband, and I've taken an auxiliary of Chaos Spawn. So everything has to have a Nurgle marked, and everything gets a 3 Veterans of the Long War, which then gives them Feel No Pain and Relentless. So I have a squad of 10 normal Chaos Space Marines. I'm using Plague Marine models, so that's basically what they become. They've got a Power Fist and 2 Plasma Guns. The Relentless makes Plasma Guns a lot more useful. I have a squad of 5 Chaos Space Marines. They have a Flamer in there. They are rocking around in a basic Rhino. I have Lord Typhus, who is there, who's got a couple of cool new psychic powers. I have 3 Nurgle Bikers. They've got 2 Melter Guns. I have 5 Havocs, 4 of them have autocannons. The fact they gain Relentless makes them a lot more useful. They can move and fire their heavy weapons. I have a Chaos Sorcerer. He's only a level 1. He's on Bike, and he's taken Biomancy. I think he's got the power that gives them Feel No Pain. Unfortunately, everything's already got Feel No Pain other than the Spawn, so it will likely be rocking with them. I have 5 Spawn with Nurgle marked, and lastly I have 3 Terminators, all Nurgle marked. One has a Chain Fist for cutting the juicy ham from Betty, and 2 of them have Combi Melters, one has a Combi Flamer. The Terminators are my unit I'm holding in reserve as my reinforcements.
Hi there. Right, today I'm taking my Necrons. Right, I've got 10 Immortals with Tesla Carbines, 13 Warriors. I've got my Overlord who's equipped with the Void Reaper, Phase Shifter and a Gauntlet of Fire. 6 Tomb Blades, they're my unit that's being held in reserve, and they're fully upgraded and they have the Particle Caster. 3 Wraiths, and they have the Whip Coils. My Annihilation Barge, my Stalker, and finally I'm using a Nightbring Satan of my own creation.
Do you want me to lift him up so you can get a proper picture of him, Si? Look at this bad boy. What's he made out of?
He's a Morghast from the Undead model, and the swirly bit is from the Prime Celestin or Celestin Prime.
Yeah, the Age of Sigmar model.
Yeah.
I would have said plastic.
Yep. He looks really cool, much better than the Satan models you can actually buy. I love his scythe.
So, yeah, first time I've used a Satan, so...
Let's see what he can do. Hopefully kill some orcs.
And then I'm bringing along my Orks for an outing. We're going to be led by Gazgul. He recently hunted down a tiger and managed to get his revenge and take out a tiger. Now he's after some bacon. He has got 18 boys with him. There's a knob with a power claw and a boss pole. They're going to be rocking around in a battle wagon. It's got a reinforced ram, not the Death Roller, and it has got a big shooter. We've got a unit of 3 killer cans with Grotzukas. We've got a truck with 12 boys with a knob power claw boss pole. They're what going to be holding reserve for me. We've got 3 mega knobs in a truck. We've got 3 war buggies, all with rockets. They're our nicely converted ones, which I do need to paint them at some point.
One day.
I bought out, because I haven't used him, I've used him once I think, but he's come back to see what he can do. A big mech with a shock attack gun. And we've got 10 looters as well going onto the field. The only thing I've changed is the 2 trucks, I've got rockets on them rather than the big shooter, because I thought more likely to hurt the pig. But let's get deploying and see if Gazzy can bring home the bacon.
So, you join us after we have set up. We do a weird thing we set up. Basically, one player who, on the random roll, gets to choose a point on the board. Then the other 2 people choose points on the board more than 42 inches away. The 42 inches automatically makes it so you can always get 3 deployment zones on the table. You can then deploy within 12 inches of that point, but not within 24 inches of an opposing model. We've each taken it in turns, deploying 1 unit each. So Si deployed a unit, then me, then Nick, so on and so forth, until we've all deployed. So Si is gathered down here. He's got everything. I'll just let you see. No need to run through exactly what it is. Satan in the centre. Nick is over there. He's got Gazzy and his boys in that.
Yep.
And then his looter and his big mech there, and spread round there. Over here, I've got my sorcerer leading the Nurgle spawn. I've got Typhus leading some plague marines, and then Bike and Havoc's up there. So that is where we are. We don't need to roll for initiative or seizing or anything. But what we do need to do is, because Betty is a giant porcelain pig, and she won't balance in the very centre of the table to start. So she is going to randomly move before the game begins. She's going to go 3d6 inches in a random direction. She could come and give one of us a lap dance at the start of the game. Nick, let's see where Betty is going to end up. Oh, she's going towards the Orc. She's going 12 inches in that direction from the flame.
She's in front of the looters.
Excellent. Blocking line of sight to side. Plonk. She may be slightly too big to play on the table, but too late now. So that is where Betty has moved to. When we have all put our beads in the bag, Si has put 6 in, Nick and I have each put 5 in, and Betty has a little pink piggy bead in the bag as well. So when that one comes out, she's going to stomp and go and attack the closest thing that has hurt her so far this turn. We shall come back and do a report at the end and see how we're going after turn 1. So it's the end of turn 1 and carnage has been had. So let's just go through a bit of what's happened. I'll start. Mine was the least interesting, I suspect. So my Havoc's moved on top of the hill, trying to, because they've got their relentless now, so they can still fire their weapons. They emptied their fire into Betty, who was mulling around over there earlier on, but failed to hurt her. Then most of my counters came out of the bag really early, and I was trying to wait around to see what others were doing, so I just ended up moving out, not doing a whole lot. My Psyker cast the power that gives him and his spawn feel no pain, and has moved up over here, but didn't do anything else other than absorb fire from Si. Si, you shot with both your infantry units really, and these things, wasn't it?
No, my warrior shot at
yes.
Betty. The Stalker and the Annihilation Barge and the Immortal shot at your biker unit.
And did a wound to a spawn.
Yeah.
My Feel No Pains were pretty useful. My other Nurgle guys have just moved forward, but you'll notice a festive tin of paint, it's red, has deep struck onto the table. It fell out the back of Santa's pot, and I am controlling it. Let's see what I get as my present. So if you control the pots at the end of the turn, you can remove them from the board to open your present. I'm going to open the present. It's a 1.
You get pigs in blanket.
Oh, I found sausages in bacon. Extra food for my troops. I've gained a victory point. That is most handy. Other stuff that happened. Nick had to move your killer cans forward, didn't you?
I had to wait quite a lot because Betty being there in front of my looters.
Yeah.
I was getting a few of my bits and I didn't want to fire my looters at Betty. But Si had done, because Si had done a wound with his warriors to Betty.
Yeah,
so
you had opened up your big warriors, who proved really good versus Betty, didn't they? Because they were allowed
yeah.
to wound it on 6s. So you did the first wound to Betty. You can see Betty has taken 4 wounds in total.
Yeah, but knowing Betty's rules with Monster Hunter, it means that when her counter come up, she was going to move towards Si.
So you were playing the waiting game.
I had to play a waiting game, so everything else was coming out. So Killer Cans moved up, the buggies went round and killed a Wraith.
Yeah, they shot a Wraith.
Shot a Wraith and killed
the
a Wraith.
Wraiths assaulted back and killed one of them and have wounded one of the bikes, or taken a whole point off a
Taking
bike.
a whole point off one. I only put a band on one actually. So there, and then Betty eventually moved. So all I had left then was my looters and the truck. But the looters opened fire, did 2 wounds. The big mech opened fire, teleported into combat.
Yep, the big Met were teleported right in next to Betty. I moved my bikes up after Nick had moved some of his stuff and secured the central objective. Si, can you please give me a victory point? Because I control it. I am objective secure with more or less my entire army, which is a big advantage this game.
Yeah, I mean, I looked for I've got my Mega Knobs in my truck. I did look, but it was going to be 11-inch charge, so
That's
the
it.
truck's just moved up this turn with the Mega Knobs still inside.
Betty then assaulted the Necron warriors because they were the closest thing that had dealt her a wound that turn, so she charged over and stomped into them, not using the stomp rule. Nick's guy teleported in behind. She killed a couple, didn't she?
She's killed 3 warriors.
Killed 3 warriors when she does her truffle shuffle at the end. So she truffle shuffled and charged out of combat and is now just standing here looking proud. But
she's killed
what
my
happened to your
big
big mech, Nick? I think she may have sat on him.
Yeah, basically, I went in the rear, attempt to do some damage, failed, and as she went out of combat, I think it was more her back legs, just moved.
Kicked you, and she's so big she just squashed you.
Yeah, and Ork wasn't expecting her to move, you see.
So that was everything that happened.
There was a wound on the Overlord as well.
Oh yeah, the Overlord took a wound from the truffle shuffle. And I think that's what happened. Not much game changing really. The biggest thing was probably Nick losing his big mech, but he's still got loads of stuff left. So we're going to move on to turn 2.
But you're in the lead with 2 victories
I am,
now.
okay, because of my present. Awesome. Let's see what happens next turn. Okay, so it's the end of turn 2, and Betty is now proudly back in the centre of the table. But how did she get there? So, from my side of the table, Typhus and his squad didn't really do much. They moved up. Santa dropped another present, more or less exactly where he dropped the last one. So Typhus' squad have stayed semi-put there. I had a second squad there that could have gone for it because Typhus attempted a charge on the killer cans but failed to make it. Other than that, my Havocs managed to kill a killer can, and my bikes retreated from the centre because Nick was pulling in some stuff that I didn't think I could handle with, and they shot at Betty with their 2 melter guns and managed to score a wound, scoring me a victory point for the turn. Si, something bad happened at the start, didn't it?
Betty decided to take a liking to my stalker.
Yeah, first counter out of the bag was Betty, and she just assaulted into Si's stalker, which wasn't good for Si. But how did you respond?
Well, my Satan and my units of warriors and the Overlord went in and did absolutely nothing.
It was appalling. They just rolled 2s on everything, didn't they? It was,
there are 1s, 2s.
yeah, and they've got Fleshbane. They're really good at hurting her. And you also brought on your...
my Tomb Lanes are on the side. The Annihilation Barge blew up the truck containing the Mega Knob.
Ah, yes, yep.
And
your... What are they? Wraiths killed something?
Wraiths killed the
buggies.
buggies.
Yep.
The Tomb Blade's got a couple of hull points on the
we're down on that.
Wagon.
What did you do this turn, Nick?
I obviously the buggies attempted to get away from the race, failed, so shot at them. We've done another wound. The battle wagon in the end, battle wagon went last in the end and come out and released Gazgul.
Yeah.
He's called his war to get into the combat down here.
Yes, because your Mega Knobs had charged into Betty, then I'd charged into the Mega Knobs with my spawn, so then Gazzy got out and charged into the spawn.
It kind of got to the point at the end. I was leaving everything till last because the killer cans just come up, attempted to their Gotsukas on the Typhus unit, failed. The truck blew up, and it was like, what do I do with the Mega Knobs? I could keep them there or what? But because of the stuff Si had in combat with Betty, I thought Si was going to do a fair few wounds, and because he was going before me,
You wanted to steal the kill.
I wanted to try and steal the kill, thinking Betty might still be, might just be down to 1 wound. There was a chance, so that's the Mega Knobs went in.
That's it, but Betty's regenerated a wound actually at the end of the turn, whether it will not die.
Where obviously you've come into me, that's kind of forced Gazzy to come straight back into come into you to.
Yes, how did this combat go? So the spawn got loads of attacks this turn and killed 10 boys. It was awesome.
You've killed off most of the boys.
You killed a couple of spawn though.
Yeah.
My sorcerer killed one of your Mega Knobs in a challenge and survived due to his feel no pain and high toughness.
Yeah, I got one.
But I have taken a wound. I'm going to have to challenge again, and this time Gazzy can accept, so I don't think the sorcerer's going to live that long.
And the looters did a wound on Betty for me, so that's got me the victory point there. And my boys in my truck have
and they are controlling the flame.
They basically just thought, well, that's why the Mega Knobs could be released. The truck could just come up.
But Typhus' squad are going to open the present. What am I going to get? It's a free, Nick. What's a free?
It's the Ghosts of Christmas Past.
Bollocks!
You can return to play D3 wounds worth of models that the unit lost earlier in the battle. Or a model in the unit game regains D3 wounds.
You'll notice I have lost no models from this unit. Waste of a present.
Well done, Grotzuka.
Oh well, let's hope Santa drops another one over here. Return to us in a second for turn 3. We're up to the end of turn 3 and Betty has now roamed all the way over there, but what was the story of the turn? So again, starting from myself, the Havoc's up here. Oh, I haven't rolled my present. Let's see what's in the present. Okay, we got Sai to roll for the present this turn. Again, it came down in zone 3, which is this corner. It's a D6 roll. So let's see what I've got. Something more useful than last turn? A 2.
Crackers! The unit may immediately make a shooting attack, but at BS1.
Excellent, so I shall do them shortly off camera. Okay, so other stuff for my turn. I charged in with Typhus Squad. Betty was sitting here at the start of the turn, and she was third to last out of the pot.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we were all hanging around waiting to see what she did, but in the end, Typhus Squad had to move, and I went into Nick's killer cans, took them out, and consolidated onto... Or didn't, sorry, I was already on it. Onto the flame in the centre, which Nick is also on, with both objectives secured, so neither of us is going to get that victory point this turn. This squad just moved forward because they haven't been doing anything all game. My bikes had jetted round the side and took out Sai's
Annihilation Barge.
Annihilation Barge of a single melter shot, pretty lucky. Sai, what happened on your turn? Then we'll get to the big combat in the middle.
Well, my 2 blades swung round. They took out 6 of the Ork.
You've done leadership for them, haven't you?
Yeah, done
made
all
their
that.
leadership.
My Wraiths didn't really do anything. I tried to take out the battle wagon, but he moved away.
Yep.
My Warriors, Immortals, and Satan all decided to fire into the combat here. Got rid of quite a lot of Orks.
It was my Sorcerer and Spawn were locked in combat with Ghazi and Meganov and some of his.
Yeah, he was aiming for the cow spawn, but it was easy.
Because it's one big combat, we do a random allocation rule.
Yeah,
and
you failed your psychic power, which is why he was aiming for them.
And he just kept on hitting you, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
And Ghazi went down to just weight of fire, and then you challenged him.
my Satan went in at the end of all the shooting and challenged Ghazi.
Killed him. The Satan's taken a couple of wounds back. My Sorcerer's only got 1 wound left, and Meganov's got 1 wound. One of the Spawn's been injured, but they're still locked in combat in the centre. They have a good turn for you, gained a VP for the Warlord kill. I cheesily managed to wound Betty because she was involved in that combat also.
Does Betty regenerate?
With my
No, she
Chaos
doesn't have
Spawn. It was kind of 6s and then him failing loads of saves, but that gained me a VP out of the blue, really, so that was really useful for me. Nick, what happened to your turn?
Well, most of my stuff was locked in combat, like the Meganovs and Ghazi, so there was nothing to do there. By the time the killer cans activated, they were locked in combat.
Yep.
The looters just sort of moved and shot at the wraiths. The bat wagon just moved up and attempted to shoot something, I can't remember what, but did nothing. And the truck just moved up and it attempted to fire a rocket at Betty in the end, because by the time the looters got to activate, Betty was in combat with everything.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
it was waiting to see what Betty did, because I didn't want to draw her over here, but I wanted to try and do the wound.
You're allowed to fire at Betty when she's in combat unless she's in combat with one of your things, and she
'cause got
charged
locked in
into
combat with
yours.
mine, so I did nothing really that entire turn. It was just
No, not a good turn for you.
combat.
Good turn for Sai there. So
No.
Sai gained a victory point and I gained a victory point. What are the scores on the doors, Sai?
I'm
2, 3,
on
4.
2 VP, Nick's on 3, and you're on 4.
Oh, close. And what else did we do this turn? This turn we also made a load of amaretto and vodka jellies.
And we've
It's
just
Christmas
glazed,
after all.
We've just glazed the.
Oh yeah, let's look at Betty's namesake in the oven. Looking good. The camera's steamed up, but getting there. Let's move on to turn 4.
It could be over shortly as well, because looking at mine,
Yeah, you may not have anything left.
I've got a Meganov, I've got a unit of boys in the truck, the battle wagon that's taken 2 hull points, 4
Yep.
looters, and 1 Meganov.
Still a few units though.
It's
Okay.
the orcs inside the truck that could survive.
Let's finish there. Okay, it's turn 4. Betty is over here at the end of that turn. What has happened? My Terminators attempted a deep strike in. I went a bit close and scattered onto size units and didn't get to land, so they've gone back into reserve. My Havocs up here took out the truck. And then Typhus's unit charged in. Typhus challenged the knob, went in there, 7 attacks with his demon psychic weapon. Failed to kill a knob. Wasn't so happy. The knob took a wound off Typhus, but I killed a load of orcs. Should win the combat this round, but nothing's for certain. Betty was over there, wasn't she? She charged size Immortals, beat them up a bit, and then trampled out the way.
I only killed the one though.
Yep, you charged in down here, didn't you? And you've
Yeah.
taken out some bikes. I tried to get away but failed.
Yeah, you killed a warrior. I
Yeah,
killed 2 of your bikes.
your warlord so good in close combat, he'll easily kill them. The Wraiths have now scored the Christmas present, which finally didn't arrive in Zone 3. Si, what have you got? Number 2.
They immediately make a shooting attack, but a BS1.
Crackers! Over here, these things took out the looters, did they?
They took out the looters, yeah.
They took the looters out before they could shoot, because I wanted them
That's
to
it.
try and shoot at Betty.
And then we got combat down here, another good result for Si.
Yeah, I took out
My
Kerwin's
sorcerer had
warlord.
to challenge, so I killed him, another VP for Si. So I think, because both Nick and I are objective secure in the centre, Si was the only one to score that turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So scores on the doors. I think it's 3-3-4, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, me and Nick are on 3. Curly, you're on 4.
Pretty close. We're basically playing until 5. The time is at the moment
4.
4:30, so we might get 2 more turns in. We'll see what
I don't
happens.
think I'm going to get any victory points at the moment here.
No, you're going to struggle. Okay. Okay, so that is end of turn 5.
Yeah.
Betty's back to near the beginning, but she is still going. So what did I do this turn? I fired my Havocs over at Betty, failed to wound her. This present arrived here, so I just moved my Rhino next to that to pick it up. In the centre here, my Plague Marines and Typhus made short work of Nick's boys. Over there, these things, Si, they attempted to wound Betty, didn't they?
They failed to wound Betty. The Wraith did score 1 wound.
He
though,
did,
but I
gaining
lose
you a
one.
VP.
Yeah.
Down here, your Catan mulched an Orc.
Yeah, got rid of the last Mega Knoll.
Yeah, that's Nick off the table now, because
Betty took out the battle wagon.
Betty took out a battle wagon here, and I failed to hurt your Catan, so it's still locked, but I don't have my sorcerer anymore, so you're going to go through me.
The Immortals tried to shoot the
Yep.
Betty.
Down
Nothing.
here, your guys killed my dude, and my Terminators
Give
arrived,
me 1 second, I'll
attempted
do
to hurt Betty, but failed to do so. So we're on to the last turn, because Nick has been wiped out now, so the game ends 1 turn after the last player is removed. Let's do the presents.
that. Roll a d6.
Roll a d6. I really could do with a victory point here. I've
On
missed
the
the table. It's hard to do when you're looking for a camera.
It's a VP!
Get in!
Blanket.
Oh, I'm cheesily using the presents to win. I'm 2 points ahead of Si now, and I got 2 VPs from presents. Okay, so we're on to the last turn. It could go... Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I gain another VP, or have I already gained that
You've
one?
already gained
I've
that
already
one.
gained that one.
Okay, so we're going to go on to the last turn, because we've got to be quick. Okay, the game is now over at the end of turn 6.
Yeah.
Betty is still proud. Nick, did she gain a wound back this turn?
No.
No, so she has taken 7 of her 10 wounds. I wasn't sure she'd get killed. She wasn't. Not much as Si mainly
She
tried.
gained 2 wounds back as well.
Yeah,
so she
so she didn't even deal it. It's good, I'm glad. So, Si, you are on a present at the end of this turn, so let's quickly see what you got, just so we've got final scores and stuff.
Number 1.
You
Pigs in
have got
Blanket.
Pigs in Blanket, an extra victory point. So this turn, what happened? I fired off my Havocs. Finally, they did a wound to Betty after all this time, gaining me a victory point. Typhus and his squad just spread out and held the centre. These guys spread alongside where Betty was in combat with all of Si's stuff, in case Si killed her, just so I could stop Si gaining the victory points for her, for claiming her as an objective. Other than that, that's all my stuff. My Terminators are killing some Immortals, but combat's not going anywhere. Si is
it's just
slowly
two
butchering
blades, isn't he?
stuff.
My Tomb Blades shot your Blade Marines,
Yep.
killing a few of them.
And you were trying to kill Betty to gain the VPs for dealing her last wound, weren't you?
Sadly, my Overlord and Wraith didn't do anything.
Yep, it was really your Overlord's really good at hurting her, and Nick's just been passing all
Yeah.
the feel no pains.
And unfortunately, my Satan's still locked in that combat, but
Yeah,
he's survived and he's whittled
Yeah.
all that down.
and he's still looking awesome. So, what are the scores on the end of the doors? Or there's some saying like that.
Well, Nick's on 3 VP, I'm on 5, and you're on 8.
8 core. Holding that centre really played it in the end, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was,
Fought with Nick for it, and
For me, it was the turn that we all thought that
Yeah.
Betty was going to go, so launched everything, launched
I mean,
Gazzy, the...
stuff on
Thing
table.
on-
Si's probably still winning stuff on table, I'd say.
Yeah,
He's got the
so-
Tan,
the
his
size Tomb Blades could
Overlord.
probably take you
Yeah,
out there.
2 blades there, loads of firepower.
If the Satan, well, he finishes that off.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you'll finish them, but Sly could still quite.
I mean, obviously Betty is winning. See, we'd arranged this so Betty here, when we killed her, we could pan over and say she looked like this. But unfortunately, she's not. She's still alive. My girlfriend will get home and be very happy we have not killed her pig. Okay, thoughts on the game, guys?
Enjoyed
Oh,
it. If we did do the 4-player, could have been a lot different. And
Yep.
well, we was going to do different deployment. Anyway,
Yeah, the deployment would have been a little bit fairer, maybe.
Yeah, it's,
The free-player deployment works in our usual free-player games, but because initiative's done differently this year, the last player for deployment zone doesn't get the advantage of the initiative, which they usually do. But other than that, I think the dice worked well again.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a much bigger game with the dice.
No, I think you'd
Possibly
struggle.
if you did a 2-player, you might. If you
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the usual, a normal sort of.
But
thing.
I just like the fact that you can't predict what's going to happen when. You can
And-
try waiting.
And you are
You
trying, you
can't-
are sort of like going, like, I'm going to wait. Oh, damn it! Like,
Yeah.
but-
I mean, obviously, we had a big pink random element in this game, but other than that, yeah, I think the dice bag worked well
You
again.
couldn't plan ahead because you didn't know when.
Yeah, you
were
could
gonna
kind of
initiative
you could
and
think of
what-
strategies, but
Yeah.
you couldn't guarantee them, which I
and it's
liked.
at the start of the turn, because we all wanted to wound Betty every turn. But
Yeah.
see, I don't want to wound her because she's going to come to me.
I think the monsters worked better than normal with the dice bag
Yes.
because you couldn't predict when they would move.
Yeah, that
So you
might-
had to hold off hurting them until their
That
dice
might be
came
worth
out.
doing in our normal monster hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
With three monsters that could randomly have picked.
No, worked really well for the monsters. Really pleased with that.
So.
Okay, we have unfortunately got to pack up, so can't spend too long on the video. So we shall
I
just.
am packed up. Sorry, I'll just go put
Oh
these
yeah,
two models away.
yeah. You
That's
got a
it.
lot. I've got a house to resort. So we'll wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everyone. and
Merry Christmas,
and a
everybody.
Happy New Year if this video does not get up before then.
I think it might actually go out tomorrow because Emma's at work tomorrow and I'm at home lounging, other than going shopping, which could take most of my
That could take
life.
a while. I mean, I've got to go out and get a couple of bits still, but I'm almost done.
So we shall give Betty the last word. What do you say, Betty?
Oink.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Merry Christmas.